We're on the ground at the LECOM Suncoast Classic, and we're on the road to French Lick. Hello, welcome once again to the Road to French Lick, a show chronicling the Korn Ferry Tour. I'm Ryan Ballantyne. Great to have you with us for this preview episode of the LECOM Suncoast Classic. This is a very important event on the schedule this year. It is the 8th event on the schedule this year, and for players who earned 8 guaranteed starts through their tour status, particularly through Q School, this is an important week. After this week, those players are subject to the points reshuffle, which puts them heaped into a group of players that are all playing in future events based on how they've done so far this season. So a huge week in Lakewood Ranch, Florida. We're going to hear from a variety of players as our Brendan Sweeney is on the ground at the LECOM Suncoast Classic, talking to Josh Teater, Kevin Dougherty, Robby Shelton, and Matthew Anderson. We'll also hear from Golf Channel's Todd Lewis. We'll hear from Brendan down at Lakewood Ranch, Florida, and we've got so much more for you. But LECOM Suncoast Classic is this week's event on the schedule. It is, again, the 8th event of the year on the Korn Ferry Tour. That's an important number for the reason that we talked about earlier. That is the cutoff for guaranteed starts through Q School for about half of the players who got through guaranteed starts from Q School back in December. There's another group higher up that get 12 guaranteed starts, effectively get them through halfway through the season. We'll deal with that about 5 weeks from now. This is an important tournament on the schedule also for those players who still have full status this year and will not be subject to the reshuffle, because at this point we enter the 8th event of the year out of 26. We are very close to the 1/3 mark of the season, and there is a lot of work to be done if you haven't done particularly well this year. We have had different champions in all 7 events this year. Hank Lebioda started us off in a playoff at Atlantis in the Bahamas. Sudarshan Yalamaraju shocked the golf world with a win at Abaco. Then you had Josh Teater, who will be a guest on this week's show, in Panama. Kyle Westmoreland then won in Colombia and then took a little bit of a break. We came back for the Visa Argentina Open, which Justin Suh won for his biggest victory of his career. Logan McAllister then won the Estara Chile Classic in Chile to pick up his first win in his 60th career Korn Ferry Tour start. And then the Frenchman Jeremy Gandon won in a playoff over Rick Lamb last week in Savannah. So, who will be the 8th champion of the year on the Korn Ferry Tour? We're going to find out this week. But first, let's hear from so many of the players that are competing this week down in Florida. Let's start with the Panama winner, Josh Teater.
How's it going, Josh?
Doing well.
Yeah.
Beautiful morning.
Absolutely. Another Pro-Am for you underneath the belt?
Yes, sir. About to get started and wrap up the day and rest this afternoon.
How's the season been going for you so far this year?
You know, I couldn't ask for anything better, I'd say. You know, starting out with very little status and, you know, playing well in Bahamas on sponsors exemptions, and then kind of easing my way into Panama and coming out on top there with the victory. Played good last tournament in Savannah, so yeah, looking good.
What are your goals and expectations coming up? Obviously, you're doing well in the points right now, but just keep full throttle down.
Yeah, you know, just kind of keep approaching each day the same. Yeah, try to be disciplined in my preparation and be ready to play when I'm ready to go, and then be energized and not wear myself out early in the week, and like in Savannah, finish with my best round of the week on Sunday. So just try to continue to do that and just compound week by week, and try to win another one and try to be in the top 20.
A day like today, you got a fabulous Pro-Am going on. What do the Pro-Ams mean to you and the players?
Yeah, I mean, I think we know that, hey, if it's not for these Pro-Ams, there's no tournaments, because they support what we do out here. A big part of the sponsorship of the events, and the only sport where people can come join us on the field or on the course that we play the next day. So great opportunity to meet folks. And today I'm playing with some guys from ISCO, who's one of my sponsors. So, just an awesome time.
Wish you the best of luck, man.
Thank you, Brendan. Appreciate it.
Next up, let's hear from Robby Shelton, a familiar name to many golf fans. He's been playing on the Korn Ferry Tour this year and looks to get a big jump start to his season this week.
Robby Shelton, what's going on, bud?
Not much.
How's life out in the Korn Ferry?
It's been good so far. I've had a good start to the season, so I'm excited.
How you started off in the Bahamas? How did that go for you?
Mm-hmm. I want to say I had a T5 and maybe like a top 40, something like that. So it was pretty good.
And then you went down south.
I only played. I've only played 4 events so far, so I've been kind of bouncing back between the PGA and here, but it's been a good start.
What's that like going back and forth between the tours? I mean, you got some off events that you can probably get into, and
yeah, I mean it's tough. I'm in Dominican this week, but chose to come here. Just with that being half points, I think this is a more opportunistic time, spot to be. So I'm here this week, and the course was great, so I'm excited.
So as a big roll tide guy,
yeah,
tell us about the program when you were there. And
we were pretty good. My freshman year, we had 4 or 5 All-Americans, and we won the national championship. And then the next 2 years, we struggled a little bit. We lost 3 of the top guys on the team, so it was hard, but it was fun. All 3 years I was there.
Any old alumni like Dickie Pride at all?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know him for sure. He's a great guy.
I've known Dickie since before he won.
Yeah.
Way back when. Yeah, so
he's awesome.
It's good stuff. So goals, expectations coming up this week, rest of the season. Obviously you got to grind it out and take it down.
Yeah, just same thing. Just stick to my process, and hopefully it pays off.
Cool. Well, we wish you the best of luck. Thanks for stopping by.
I appreciate it.
Yep.
Next up, let's hear from number 25 on the points list through 7 events this season, the Canadian, Matthew Anderson.
What's it like on the tour so far? How many events have you played in so far?
We have played 7 events.
You've been in all of them?
Been in all of them.
Sweet.
Yep. So,
how's it going?
Good. It's been a good start. Got a couple good finishes. Just kind of getting acclimated to everything, how the tour works, and getting all my stuff together, travel, caddy, all that kind of good stuff, and happy to be back in America logistically. It's a little bit easier.
Well, the weather is definitely.
Weather is perfect this week, especially, for sure.
How was Savannah?
It was good. I actually really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed that golf course. The area, I stayed in the landings, stayed with the host family. Everything was on site. It was awesome. Really enjoyed the week for sure. Except the fact that I didn't play the weekend, but other than that, it was great.
What's the biggest adjustment you had on here so far? Just logistics, or?
I mean, I would say like to pro golf in general, it's just you're doing stuff more on your own. I found that when I obviously turned pro, did Canada and Americas last year. Out here, I think you're just a little bit more on your own, and you're just kind of like. Obviously there's the caddy and that, and but like it's more or less the same. Like your routine on a week-to-week basis is pretty similar compared to like Americans last year.
Well, cool. We wish you the best of luck.
Cool.
Have fun.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And finally, let's hear from number 44 on the points list this season, Kevin Dougherty.
Kevin, how you doing? How's the tour been treating you this year?
Yeah, it's been good. It's nice to be back in the States for a good little stretch, and it's been a nice start to the year. So no, it's been good. You've been
out obviously the Bahamas and South America, and how's the stretch been so far this year?
It's been solid. We've had 2 or 3 nice finishes out of the country, and then it's always a little tricky out of the country with shuttles and everything. So it's just nice to get back here and kind of be on our own schedule. So
today being a Pro-Am day, you get a good chance to meet up with sponsors and whatnot. What does it mean? Not only to the players, but you to meet these fellows on just want to be inside the ropes with you.
Yeah, you just never know who you're going to meet, and I mean through Pro-Ams we've acquired sponsorships and friendships, and it's just a good time to kind of get out and meet 4 new guys and just kind of support the tournament, and you never know what will come from it.
So Oklahoma State, how's their program going to be doing this year?
Yeah, they're very good. I believe they're maybe top 5 in the country. They've won a couple times this year, and big spring coming up.
And then How was that experience playing big-time golf as a college kid? And I'm sure the landscape has changed since then.
Yeah, it was amazing. Going to Oklahoma State to play golf is kind of like going to Alabama to play football or something like that, and so it was very special.
Cool. Well, we wish you the best of luck. Thanks for stopping by.
Perfect. Thank you.
Last month at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, we were fortunate to spend some time with Todd Lewis at Bay Hill. The Golf Channel host, interviewer, and reporter has been a long-standing part of the network, and he talked with Brendan Sweeney about a whole variety of things, including the Korn Ferry Tour.
All right, here with the old buddy, Todd Lewis, NBC Golf Channel. How you doing, bud?
I'm good. Enjoying the Florida winters.
Yeah.
That aren't too bad.
Well,
I feel like I'm bragging, so I apologize for those who are not enjoying winters.
but you get to commute back and forth to Connecticut, to the mothership.
Occasionally, yes.
Yes.
I do.
So we're doing a show. It's called Road to French Lick. It's about guys who come out of the Korn Ferry Tour or their journey to get their card.
Right.
So obviously this year the top 20 guys received their PGA card, and the last 2 weeks has been a pretty good example of what happens when guys come out and they're smoking it. What do you think so far of the last few weeks on the PGA Tour?
I think that it's obviously when stars are being stars, it's gravitating to viewers, no matter what the sport. When LeBron James is scoring 50, when Patrick Mahomes is winning Super Bowls, going down the list. When Scottie Scheffler is winning 9 times like he did in 2024, yes, people are going to watch.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan, yes.
There you go. Thank you.
No
Chicago
longer,
reference.
No longer with us. I mean, he's with us, but not playing. But when you have players like we've seen the last 2 weeks that really no one knew about, and you hear this story of perseverance and taking advantage of the opportunity, getting their chance to succeed after many failures, I think that is gravitating as well. And in actuality, the numbers prove it. The ratings for the last 2 events have been up.
Yeah.
And with relatively unknown winners, but who, if you follow the Korn Ferry Tour and you follow golf like we do, they are known.
It's amazing. Not only the young guys that are coming up, but some of the older guys who have a second chance at life.
Yeah.
Brian Campbell was on tour, was on the Korn Ferry Tour for 6 or 7 years. Last year, came in, I think, 5th at French Lick. And then his 3rd tournament this year, he winds up winning after missing, 4th tournament, and he missed 2 cuts.
I think he's very interesting in the fact that he came out of the University of Illinois, fought his way to get his PGA Tour card in 2017, and frankly didn't play well. He admits he wasn't prepared. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot to prepare for.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's not just hitting the ball in the center of the club, but being by yourself, being alone, where to eat, where to go.
Travel, caddy, companion.
All of that. It's when you come from a team environment like college and you have this adjustment, for some it's tough. It takes a while. So he lost his card in 2017, went to the Korn Ferry Tour, and stayed there, and nearly lost his card in 2021 on the Korn Ferry Tour. But somehow was able to keep it and played well enough in 2024 to get back out onto the PGA Tour. And he is he actually is the shortest hitter on the PGA Tour.
That's crazy.
And he went into a playoff with Aldrich Potgieter, who is the longest hitter on the PGA Tour. So the odds have been stacked against him many times. And for him to, again, show grit, perseverance, and determination, I think that the Korn Ferry Tour prepared him for that.
It's amazing. Well, just going back, I'm an Illinois guy, but in 2014, we hosted the Big Ten Championships.
Yeah.
On that team, Nick Hardy, Thomas Dietrich, Thomas Peters, Brian Campbell, Charlie Danielson. I mean, Mike Small had it stacked.
Yeah,
so
Mike Small is a great coach.
But college players that are coming out now, PGAU. Look at Luke from Florida State.
Luke Clanton. I mean, this all really was a cannonball out of the cannon with Luke Vigover. I mean, he was the first star from PGA Tour University. And now he's a top 10 player, successful Ryder Cup team member for Europe. Now you see these kids. We've heard for a while. These kids are ready to win, and I don't know if I completely was cashing that check that was handed to me, but now I am. These guys are ready for the moment, and they're not overly intimidated. And I think a lot of that is, you guess, the Korn Ferry Tour prepares these guys if they go there. But secondly, these college programs are state of the art.
Oh God!
They really are. If you get into a great program, you've got your own launch monitor, you're hitting balls year round. You're doing a lot.
You get a
work.
jet?
You get a jet.
Access to a jet?
You're in the gym. You're like a tour player.
You're
like a tour player. So I think they're so more prepared.
Cool. Todd, appreciate your friendship, my man.
You too, B.
Yeah.
Good
Got to get you back up to the lick.
Oh, I'd love that.
Have fun. Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.
Brendan Sweeney is with us. He is at the LECOM Suncoast Classic down at Lakewood Ranch, Florida. Brendan, you talked to a whole lot of players this week. What's kind of the vibe around this tournament, the second in the U.S. this season?
I tell you what, they're happy to be home after the first 6 tournaments being on the road out of the country. A lot of the guys are all chopped up, raring to go. They're finally starting to get their groove on. They see what they need to do. They need to get their points. They need to finish well. They need to make the cuts, and that's what it's coming down to. You have a lot more teachers out here. The range has been really busy with more guys. I mean, when we were in the Bahamas, you sort of saw it, but now we definitely see there's more attention being paid to these guys.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see who kind of has that sense of urgency now versus the players that maybe had the sense of urgency at the start of the season and got that benefit paid off to them, including Josh Teater, who won in Panama.
Yeah, I actually spoke to Josh this morning, and you look at him, and he knows what it takes to be there. He's been to the show. He got his card at Victoria National back in 2023, and he's been on the tour before, and he knows what it takes to get back there. And it's just refocus and realign. And he's such a humble, nice guy. He was playing with his sponsors today, and they absolutely love the guy. And he's a regular guy. He's a guy that you like sit down and be one-on-one with. He's got zero ego, and he's just a humble, nice person.
Yeah, I had a great time playing with him in Puerto Rico, the Puerto Rico Open Pro-Am number of years ago, and he gave it to me, and I gave it back to him just like two normal people, and it couldn't be an easier guy to root for. At the same time, you've got this event, and then the last event as the 8 events for which players who earned that status to be exempt through the reshuffle through the first 8 events. This is it for them. So for those guys, that desperation has to start creeping up on them really quickly this week.
Well, yeah, and then if you look at it, I mean, you look at someone like Kyle Westmoreland, who he was on the bottom 3 guys in points, and in 1 week it just changes just like that. And that's your whole career. I mean, if you look at the Bahamas, what stands out is James Nichols, who I spoke with this morning. And I just remember he was coming down the stretch at the Bahamas, the first field, and he has a bad hole, and it just sort of scrambled him. So he's trying to get back on track. I mean, that's what the Korn Ferry is. And next year, with the amount of tour cards being limited this year, it's dropping down to 20 being given away at French Lick, United Leasing and Finance Championship. Next year is going to be even more competitive. So these guys got to make a mark, and they got to make it quick. Because before you know it, man, April's over. And May comes, and then come June, July, you're scrambling. So yeah, any week, anything can happen, and we're looking forward to some really competitive rounds out here.
Around this time last year, we had the rise of Tim Vieding, who all of a sudden found himself in the top 100 in the world and won twice on the Korn Ferry Tour. He knew he was going to the PGA Tour. It was locked and loaded no matter what. And I think at that point, you start to feel a kind of sense of relaxation. So do you think of someone like Hank Lebioda, who won the first event of the year, is 85% of the way there to a practically guaranteed PGA Tour card at this point? But does he still need to have that pedal down, kind of get his way through this stretch of the season where there's kind of 3 events in a row and then 4 events in a row after an off week, and really make sure he's got what he wants and really finish in the top 10, because that's going to give you the best chance to get an event?
Just got to keep grinding, baby. That's it is. And look at someone last year we focused on Brian Campbell. Brian Campbell, finishes 5th last year at French Lick, and next thing you know, he wins an PGA Tour event, and he has a great Sunday at Augusta. And we're really proud of him. We know him. I've known him since he was a kid. But it happens that quickly out here, and these guys know what it stands for, and they know what it means to grind and the dedication, the determination, the drive it takes to become a champion. So time will tell there, Ryan. We'll see what happens, and hopefully this week at Lakewood Ranch, a champion comes out that deserves it. I mean, they all deserve it. Don't get me wrong, but you see the guys at work. I mean, last week in Savannah, a playoff happens, and we have a French champion who came out of nowhere. And God bless him. Jeremy's a great guy, and we're trying to get a hold of him right now, and hopefully we get him on the show one of these days.
And then one last thing I want to think about is that we've got obviously different winners throughout the course of the season. We haven't had a repeat champion yet, which That's to be expected. But looking down toward the number 20 spot on the points list, we were thinking early in the year, and we talked to the folks at the Korn Ferry Tour about what they thought that point number would be, and they kind of figured it'd be about 1,000 would do the job. It kind of seems like it's going to be more than that now, maybe even closer to 1,200 points, and that's going to raise the bar a little bit more to get to that number.
It's a tough gig, man, but the prize is worth it. They know what it takes, and you're starting to see more focus, more intensity at the range. And I spent the last 2 days at the range out here, and you can see it's a different game face from what it was in the first quarter.
Well, we can't wait to see how that translates on the golf course this week. This time last year, we were talking about a teenager, Miles Russell, taking the Korn Ferry Tour by storm, but we don't necessarily have that this week. We're looking forward to seeing who winds up the champion on Sunday and kind of keeps this momentum going as the tour really gets moving through the United States. So thanks, Brendan. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Miles is out here this week, and it's amazing when you look at a kid and all of a sudden you see how he matures like over a year, and it's like, oh, wow, I wonder if he's shaving yet. So who knows? We'll see. But, yeah, Ryan, thanks for the line, man. We look forward to a great show, and we'll talk to you soon, bud.
That's going to do it for us this week on the road to French Lake. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks so much to the players who participate in our interviews. It's always great to hear from them as they're on this journey this season. We'll be back next week with a recap of the LECOM Suncoast Classic. We'll get you ready for the week ahead of the Veritex Bank Championship at Texas Rangers Golf Club in Arlington, Texas. And we'll keep on chugging away on the road to French Lick. For Brendan Sweeney, everyone at the French Lick Resort, I'm Ryan Ballingy. For everyone at Golf News Net, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time on the road to French Lick.